The smell of smoke still creeps into my dreams, you know what I mean? There are moments when I close my eyes and I can see it, flames curling through the night, turning everything I'd worked for into a pile of ashes, all because one woman decided her idea of community standards was more important than my right to live on my own land. Yeah, that happened. If you've ever dealt with an HOA president who thinks she's God's gift to property values, you'll get why this story still makes my hands shake. My name's Marcus. Let me back up a sec. 3 years ago, I bought a little corner of paradise in Riverside Heights. 5 acres, big old oaks, space to breathe, and the dream of turning it into a small farm where my grandkids could ride horses and pick eggs right out of the henhouse. Of course, there was an HOA. Those rule books are as thick as my arm, but I read every line before signing, especially the bit that said you could build agricultural structures as long as your lot was over 3 acres and you kept things looking, harmonious. I wasn't just careful. I was borderline obsessive. My place was 5.2 acres. Barn plans matched the neighborhood's colonial style, down to the shutters, and I even made sure the paint color was on their approved list. But no amount of prep can protect you from Patricia Thornton, HOA president, ruler of the cul-de-sac. The kind of lady who has a different colored binder for every category of sin she thinks your lawn can commit. Patricia pulled up the very first day I moved in, handed me a fruit basket with one hand, and a neon-highlighted copy of the HOA guidelines with the other, acting like she was welcoming me to her kingdom. Looking back, maybe I should have played dumb, but I told her straight. I'd memorized setbacks, which I'd measured twice, then went after the paint, said barn red wasn't crimson, even though I had paperwork from the hardware store proving they were the same. She'd sit at the edge of times. He finally told her to stop clogging up his day. Tried getting neighbors to sign a petition against my barn, but only 2 bothered, and they were both her book club friends who didn't even live in Riverside Heights. When I finally finished the barn, red with crisp white trim, a weather vane spinning on top, it was like something from a painting. Horses moved in, chickens started scratching, and honestly, most of the neighborhood loved it. The kids came by to pet the animals, and for a few weeks, I let myself believe things would settle down. Patricia had other plans. She called them compliance checks, but really, it was daily harassment. Every morning at 6 o'clock, like clockwork, she'd roll by, measuring grass with a ruler and muttering about city codes. She filed noise complaints about my rooster. Never mind that city rules said he was legal. She griped about flies, even though my stables were cleaner than half the kitchens in that neighborhood. She even argued that my weather vane was an unauthorized architectural element. The HOA board, bless him, finally told her, out loud, at a meeting, to find a new hobby. James Chun, one of the board members, actually said that. And I remember thinking, maybe now she'll back off. But when someone who craves control feels it slipping, that's when you have to watch out. After the board turned on her, things got weird. Illegal animals, but every inspection turned up nothing. That's when I stopped playing nice. I put up hidden cameras, kept every email, took photos, and made a file so thick my buddy, who's a lawyer, said I could sue her blind if I wanted. Thing is, I just wanted peace. I wanted to live my dream and stay out of court. That changed the night everything burned. October 15th, I'll never forget it. I was at my daughter's school play, proud as can be, watching her on stage, when my phone started buzzing so hard it nearly fell off my seat. 18 missed calls. Voicemails from my neighbor, his voice barely holding it together. Marcus, you need to get home. Your barn's on fire. I made the 12-mile drive in 8 minutes, heart pounding so hard I thought I might black out. Gone. The fire chief met me by the mailbox, told me they'd arrived fast, but by then it was already a lost cause. Thank God my horses were safe in the pasture, chickens in their coop. Not a single animal hurt. But my tractor, my feed, every tool I owned, melted to nothing. 80 grand, up in smoke. And then, here's where it turns. The chief tells me they found accelerant. Gasoline, poured everywhere, clear as day. This wasn't an accident. Somebody torched my barn on purpose. Let me tell you, the next few days were a blur. The arson investigator found burn patterns, gasoline trails, but it was my hidden camera in the old oak tree, 20 feet back, totally invisible, that caught the truth. There she was, plain as daylight, Patricia Thornton in black. rolling up in her golf cart with 2 gas cans, pouring them out methodically, circling the barn like a shark. At 8:15 she lights the match, stands back, and just watches. You think she'd have gotten away with it? Almost. But here's the kicker. She'd forgotten about the new license plate cameras the HOA installed. Her idea, by the way. They caught her leaving, coming back, exact times. The police had her dead to rights. When they arrested her, it was right in the middle of an emergency HOA meeting. She was literally accusing me of insurance fraud as the cops walked in. Patricia tried everything, claimed diplomatic immunity as HOA president, not a thing, by the way, said she was protecting property values, that she was under stress. Her lawyer actually argued. HOA stress disorder. The judge looked like he was about to lose it. My file, witness statements. Even her husband testified she'd been obsessed for months. But the wildest moment was when Patricia took the stand. She admitted to it, said she did it for the good of the neighborhood, bragged about planning it so nobody would be hurt. She'd even checked I was gone at my daughter's play. The prosecutor didn't even need a dramatic closing. The jury came back, perceived authority. I got my day in court, gave my statement. Told them what that barn meant. Retirement dreams, family memories, my granddaughter's first ride. 8 years in prison. $500,000 in restitution. Lifetime ban from ever holding an HOA position again. Patricia's jaw hit the floor. She actually asked if she could do house arrest in a nice neighborhood instead, like she'd learned nothing. The judge just shook his head and told her prison would give her time to reflect on real community standards. Her scream of "this isn't over" echoed as they hauled her away. But for the first time in years, I slept easy. I rebuilt my barn, stronger than ever. The board replaced half the rules with actual common sense. The neighborhood felt like a community again. But I gotta ask, where's the line between keeping order and abusing power? What would you do if someone in your community went this far? Drop a comment, share your own HOA horror stories, or tell me if you think justice was really served. Because at the end of the day, all any of us wants is to feel safe at home, even if it means standing up to the self-appointed kings and queens on our street.